Instagram ads can completely change your life and clothing business if you know the right strategy to implement. So here's the inside of Ads Manager for the last 30 days to give you some perspective. So 2,000 purchases, spending a little bit of money, spent $66,000 in the last 30 days on this particular account, $32 cost per purchase, link click-through rate 8.8%. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the step-by-step how to get results like this, the strategies you need to implement even if you don't have a large budget. And stick around towards the end and I'll share with you the one way to never run out of creative ideas for your content. Now, anyone can teach you the setup of Ads Manager, but no one shares why the setup actually doesn't matter. Okay, now it does 20 to 30%. The other 70% is really where it matters. So I will still build the ads out here with you, but first we need to talk about what actually makes some ads successful and others flop when they're all set up the same. Now, number one, research, the unsexy part of business, but the real truth behind how to make the most amount of money and the reason that these brands do really, really well. So let's pull it up here. I'm gonna use bleu. That's blue for those people who are familiar with the word bleu. All right, so number one, research. Now, we've created a simple document that you can go through that walks through who your audience actually is. So the audience goes into basically three parts. So we have a desire. When we're going through a desire, when we're selling something, you have to hit or sell somebody on that actual desire. But let's go through this document. It'll make a little bit more sense. So we start with the struggling avatar, which is the person who has an actual problem. Who is this? Don't worry, whether you're a streetwear brand or a boutique, doesn't matter. Somebody who's buying your clothes has a problem. We've talked in previous videos, if you had a streetwear brand that was focused on Christians, maybe a Gen Z audience, well, what is their problem? Maybe there's not anything that represents their style and also their faith. So you created something, right? So that's the problem. And think about it this way. So you have to do research about that audience, and you would know that because I'm a streetwear brand focused on Christians who are in the Gen Z audience or a certain demographic, whatever it is, that I know their problem. So you do that through research. Struggling avatar, we'll just call it SA. We have the struggling avatar. Then we have the unique solution. And then we have what's called a future-paced hero. So struggling avatar is the problem, unique solution, your actual solution, and future-paced hero, life after. So if you go through this document, you'll actually walk you through what the pain points are of your audience. You fill these things out, your core identity, your experience, your knowing, talk about the difference between those, the past struggles, and then you realize that for the most part, you are your avatar. Maybe you're that Gen Z audience, the younger audience who happens to be a Christian that doesn't feel like any brand out there represents you. Or maybe you're that boutique owner who happens to be that 35 to 45-year-old boutique owner who loves the bohemian style, but there isn't somebody who creates it for your age demographic and who is also more of a slow fashion or eco-friendly. And so you created that. Again, you're typically the struggling avatar. So it's much easier for you to explain your way to what's life like afterwards, how these clothes make you feel, how they represent you. So we go after that type of desire. But we have documents for all of them, kind of like how you stand out for your actual unique solution. And then we have your future-paced hero. The goal here is that you fill these out, you have a better understanding of your audience, and guess what? Your Instagram ads, let me bring this full circle for you, your Instagram ads will become better because you know your audience and you can talk to them. I.e., you're watching this video right now. Let's do a little bit of inception here, right? You are likely a clothing brand owner, a boutique owner, private label, but something to do with the fashion world, right? And you're watching this video on how to find out about your audience while I'm telling you, while talking about it specifically to you. So that's that future-paced hero. So you got to have that, and honestly, if you want these documents, we use these internally for our program members, and we use them for our clients, customers. So if you want this, just comment the word avatar down below, I'll send it over to you. Okay, now that we know who our audience is and what kind of content they like, we need to focus on the quantity before quality. First step is going through these actual problems and then creating content around those problems, ironically. Okay, and then I want to take a little page out of the Alex Hormozi playbook. He says this, and if you don't know who he is, a great business guy, it's this phrase right here. So number two is more than better than new. You need to create more content first, then create better content, and then create new content. Likely your business is not growing because you're not doing enough content. I like to explain it a little bit differently. I like to explain it as the 3 I's. So let me show you what I mean. So the 3 I's, very simply, are 1, imitate, iterate, and then Innovate. Find out what your competitors are doing, not the big companies, the ones where you're at, right? Maybe 10% bigger. So imitate, iterate your own variations of it, and innovate. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can find and imitate these brands. Some people can't find them as easily, so I'll show you how to get that. That's my promise to you in the video. But imitate, iterate, innovate with your actual content. You need to pump out a ton of content. Before we get into those, I just wanted to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and alongside my business partner, Christian, I specialize in the marketing, the advertising, the messaging, kind of what you're talking and working on now, and Christian focuses on the website, Shopify apps, really kind of like trust throughout the brand. So just to give you guys a little bit of context, in the last 12 months, we've helped over 250 clothing brands grow and scale online. And if you found any value in this video so far, I would appreciate a nice little like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. We've dropped 2 new videos at minimum every single week for you. Also, if you do this in the next 3 seconds, I will share with you the best Christmas movie from the 1990s. Okay, so now here's the actual challenge with this content, okay? So the imitate, iterate, innovate, more, better, new. Here's your actual challenge. I know some of you guys love challenges, some of them, run away, but I promise you it will help you grow your brand, and it will help you with your Instagram ads. It will make all of this, okay? So when I build this ad, it will make much more sense for you. You're on this channel more than likely because you're a brand trying to either quit your job and to go full-time into this and leave your old life behind, or you have a brand and you are stuck or just trying to scale. Either way, you want to get to that next level, right? You try to go there, and you can't get there by staying in the comfort zone. So the challenge here, okay, it's very simple. 2 reels a day. You also need 1 video carousel. So 2 reels a day, 1 video carousel, 1 video carousel a day. All right, so you're gonna post on Instagram first. So posting on IG, and then you're gonna give context to where which platform you're gonna post on next, but I want you to keep the original content and re-upload. You don't need to create it multiple times, you just need to give context to where you're publishing it at. So you're gonna do Instagram, and then you're gonna go to TikTok, then you're gonna post it on Facebook, not directly, you're actually gonna go to Facebook Reels and actually post them, and then YouTube Shorts. You're gonna post on all of those platforms. Now, you're gonna do this for the next 30 days. This will give you 360 posts. That's a lot. 360 posts in 1 month, which is probably more than you would do in 12 months, let's be honest. But because you did this, you now have a huge advantage over everyone else when they get into the ad strategy I'm gonna share with you, because we don't have to guess. Now, if you're thinking this seems like a piece of cake or you're getting somewhere close to this right now, I'm gonna push you and say, let's not do 2, but 3 reels per day plus 1 video carousel. Okay, a video carousel, I would do like a thumb-stopping type of image, or like just a clean image of your product, then video talking about the product. Then an image of a lifestyle photo, and then a video of somebody like interacting wherever they may be that relates to the actual product. Okay, so keep going through, and you want to create that kind of carousel. Reels and carousel reach more people. Your stories, the challenge with this, part of it as well, the stories, I want you to do 3 to 7 stories per day. This nurtures the actual relationship, but it's not technically needed for the ads piece. My first clothing brand client ever gave me so much grief about social media posting, right? They did a ton of grief about this stuff right here. So she was a retired teacher who was told she had a knack for helping women style. She tried it out locally, doing the kind of the brick and mortar thing, but the business really started to take off when we created a daily show where she walked through with people on what to do, what to wear, how to wear it, and how to like look good and style things together. And she gave amazing offers, okay? Not discounts, amazing offers. Like buy within the next 30 minutes and we're gonna do free shipping or do whatever. Shout out to the people who have figured out live selling. If you haven't yet, there is a link in the description down below. You can check out Video or Comment Sold. Video is actually the Shopify app. I would suggest that one, but Comment Sold is an option as well. But that way you can stay on Shopify. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to take your already engaged audience and content and scale it with ads. That's how we're gonna build it here. But first, hold up 1 second. I just wanna say that, hey, if you're watching this video, you're probably a clothing brand owner. You're probably gonna wanna jump into the specifics of your brand. Thank you so much for watching. But if you wanna jump on a free 45-minute strategy session, you can check out the link in the description down below. There also obviously is limited spots, okay? So go find a time that works best for you by checking out the link in the description, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, so inside of Ads Manager, let's make this very, very simple here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys 2 things, traditional setup, and then one way to keep a ton of social proof and trust if you are just starting out and you want to scale as well. Very simply, create a new campaign. This is more of a traditional route, what I would suggest for a newer brand. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit create. I'm gonna do a manual sales campaign, not an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. I would label this. You can label it however you'd like. You need to figure out a systematic method for you to be able to test. For us, we're just gonna say conversions here. Okay, I would not technically label this that way, but you just need to figure out what would actually work for you and your brand. You need to make sure that it makes sense. I'm just doing that, don't need to do anything about it. Special ad categories is for election, don't worry about it. Sales is our main objective. Advantage Plus catalog ad is technically on. We're not gonna use anything for it. Advantage campaign budget. This is the old CBO verbiage terminology. They just want us to get, and they want us to trust the Advantage campaign budget. But this is CBO, campaign budget optimization, which means that from the campaign level, the budget's distributed between each ad set. So not anything that you need to do on the ad set level, or what's called ABO by some people. So go ahead and hit next. Now, for this, the ad set name, I just like to do broad, and then I like to do my testing, whether it's a 101 or a 201, depending on my actual test of what's going on. So let's just do 101, and we can label this as however you'd like. Let's just say holiday run-up. I'm doing caps just so you guys can see it a little bit easier here as well. All right, so performance goal, max number of conversions, purchase, goal. We'll show more options. We're still at a 7-day click, 1-day view. That's the attribution setting and the optimization window as well, meaning we're trying to get purchases within that 7-day period. All right, scroll down through. We are not going to do an end date for this particular one. Audience type, we are not retargeting anybody. We are going after new audiences. One other thing I would make sure that you do as well. The reason I do this is because I like to exclude if I have a brand that's been running for a while. If you don't have a ton of purchasers, then don't worry about it. But I always like to exclude the last 30 days or 60 days, depending on how often people purchase. So I'm going after a completely new audience. And ignore this. Meta always says, hey, you can get 33% lower cost, whatever it may be. So I understand that's what they say. It typically doesn't work that way. Go after the demographic you have. So let's say here it's 25 to 54 or something. Okay, whatever your audience actually is. Again, go back to the research. Who's your audience? You'll know that. If you don't know, open it up a little bit wider and then look at your actual data analytics and let it find out for you. Meta does a great job with, if your content is good, of finding the right audience. All right, so exclusions, create a custom audience. I would create a custom audience of people who have purchased in the past, or exclude people who have purchased. All right, so I can do this and change this to 30. Placements, I'm leaving it pretty much where it's at. There's no things that I would change there. I used to get rid of the apps and things like that, but it doesn't really matter too much. We've seen that most of the budget goes to the actual feeds or where it can be optimized. All right, now I'm gonna go to the ad, make sure that I got the Facebook page and the Instagram page accurate, and I got the actual catalog. These are several different brands that are going on here, but I'm just running with it here just to show you guys. All right, so new run up offer. I'm not doing a carousel, I'm gonna do a single image. One thing that I would do, if we're going back here, a lot of times we set this up as dynamic creative, or is now switched to kind of like a flexible campaign. My apologies. When I hit the Advantage Plus catalog ad, I accidentally whenever I turned that on, I adjusted this. So don't turn that on unless you're actually going to do a carousel. Dynamic creative is still here. It actually it's going away. It's going to be called flexible. You can look at what it is. Essentially, I have a whole video breaking down that, but not too much changes. It actually becomes a little bit better. It's just hard right now with doing flexible because you can't see a bunch of the social proof. Do the dynamic creative, go to the ad level, and then we always say to follow like a 3-2-2. If you guys are familiar, that method is kind of widely used now. I've been using that since 2020. So that means 2 primary text, 2 headlines. All right, description, doesn't really matter, don't need it. URL, make sure to put your actual URL here, it won't work. All right, you can do Advantage Plus creative optimizations, but you want to see the possible optimizations of what it's going to do. I typically do not like to do all of them. I don't really want to do the music stuff. Your URL parameters, make sure to put that in there. That's actually more of like a trip whale thing. If you're not familiar with trip whale, it allows you to actually see the true numbers, the true data on your ads. Most of the time, these are completely bloated numbers that look better than they actually are. So TripWell is attribution software. If you're wondering what the heck happened since the iOS updates and all the data that's gone, this is now fixed. And they also have a new suggestion through what's called Sonar, which gives you a lot more data. So there's a link in the description. You can check it out below. that will be very helpful for you. So put your triple well URL tracking right there. Change this to a Shop Now button. And again, if you're not familiar with the optimizations, you can add 3 images. So this is 1 of 10. You're gonna take a ton of budget to be able to make that work. I would do the 3 here. So 3 images, make sure that they're the same. Don't do images and videos and images. Just do image, 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 or graphic, 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 or video, video, video. Otherwise, very difficult to make that work. This is telling me that I have no access because I'm using multiple platforms basically to make this work. But all right, this is the actual setup here. I have a whole video on copy and everything there. Like I said, this is just more of a traditional setup. You're 3-2-2, going broad. Actually, after you understand your research, you should know the copy that you should go after and be able to plug in here. Now, let me show you the one that I think will be the most valuable for you. So very similar. I'm gonna go for sales, gonna hit continue, manual sales campaign. I'm not gonna go through anything. I'm gonna show you the main thing that is different here. So not doing catalog, I'm gonna turn that off. So no catalog, I'm gonna label it as conversion. The ad set level, only going for website, not website and shop. Maximize conversions, I'm gonna use the actual pixel that I have here that's set up for conversions API. I'm gonna go for a purchase, cost per result, not really working at those. I'm not turning on dynamic creative for this, just as a heads up. My daily budget, still gonna keep it around where I would wanna be. Like I said, not too much is gonna switch there. Minimum age, you can switch to the original audience options that we talked about earlier. You can put it in your actual demographic. I'll tell you the major difference here that we want to use though. So instead of creating an ad, we wanna use existing post. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and select a post. The best way to do this though is if you can go through, I'm looking for one with a ton of social proof. I can keep this right here, hit continue. This would be one of my posts. It's actually even telling me like, hey, I may get a higher engagement, but like I already got 59 people who liked it. Call to action required. Add a call to action. This is Shop Now. This is also doing a promo code. You can decide whether or not you want to do a promo code, but the goal is here that I'm going to keep the actual social proof. Okay, you can use the code whether or not you're going to do it. The Advantage Creative enhancements, again, I'm fine with them. I don't want to do 3D animation, that's good. Format, image imitate animations, format automation. I think I'm fine with that, honestly. Music, add catalog items. I'm actually good with all of those for the ones that they mentioned there, but typically not so much with the music. It's usually misses it. But URL parameters, like I said, put in the triple Y one. Make sure that this is on. 4 of the 7 enhancements are on. You can see my social proof that is there too. Scroll on through. Good, good. And then just make sure that this is labeled. You can actually do the catalog if you want to. It may make you, but I'm not doing it as an actual catalog. The next thing you need to do is if you have multiple of these that have a lot of social proof and it's for a particular product, the best thing you want to do is send people directly to a product page for a particular product if it is in stock, especially our streetwear brands of the world. If it's a boutique, unless you have a ton of deep stock, I would send it to a catalog page. To change this or to do it on the ad level, you just do a quick duplicate and then change out and then change the post. I can scroll through here. Let's find something else that's got a ton of social proof, whatever. This one right here is good. 33 or 38 likes. I could use that as social proof. It gives me some options for copy. Again, give you an example of what they're looking like, but that is exactly what I would do right now. So you have a traditional way, and then you have a social proof way. The only way for social proof is if you actually do the challenge, you'll have a ton of content. You can see something does well, and instead of going and boosting a post, you can do it this way, have the call to action, and get people to actually start purchasing right away. Builds trust, whether you're just starting out or whether you are scaling. Okay, so now you know how to use Instagram ads. The best thing you can do now is to use Instagram Organic to supplement, all right? This thing over here, I have a video on exactly how to do that, so go watch that video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.